this is Adriana Gascoigne reporting for Bubblicious. We're here at the Topix Party, the post-Web 2.0. It's the first day. Did you have a good time?
Yes, had a great time.
Yeah? This is Wayne from Merchant Circle, and what did you learn today about at the event?
You know, there's a lot of great stuff going on, and it seems like there's a lot of adoption of some of this technology. On the other hand, there's a lot of companies out there, and soon there's going to be less companies out there.
Yeah. Very true. I mean, you want to take calculated risks. But, that being said, what does Merchant Circle do, and why is it so much better than the competitors out there?
Right. So people are looking for small business on the internet, but they're not being found. So we're helping all those small businesses, all 15 million of them, create a web presence so that when consumers are searching for small goods and services, small business goods and services, they're going to get found by using Merchant Circle.
So how did you create this product? I mean, it is sort of a pain point, but how did you think about this, you and your co-founder?
You know, we were looking at what was going on in the real world, how small businesses were interacting with each other. We're watching how, in downtown Palo Alto, we saw a hot tub dealer talking to a dry cleaner, trying to figure out how to do some co-marketing stuff. And we realized what they were doing in the real world, there was a great opportunity for them to do the same thing on the internet.
So what do you hope for the future of your company? What are some of the visions, or how do you hope it to evolve?
So we want to grow a really, really, really large merchant base. We want to capture all 15 million small businesses in the United States as customers. So we position it sort of as the MySpace for small businesses, where every small business is using Merchant Circle as their platform to reach out to customers.
So you're using the Web 2.0 conference as a learning tool, or as a place to do partnerships and as a platform to exhibit yourself?
Yeah, a little bit of a both, right? So there's a lot of information to be gained. There's a lot of great people here, and I always meet new people that are seem to be doing really cool and exciting things.
So who are some of your partners right now?
So for example, Topix is a pretty good partner of ours right now. So they have a lot of great content. They have a lot of great inventory in the local space. It's a perfect match for what we're trying to do. They hold a lot of inventory, we hold the merchants, and we're going to put them together.
Very good. Well, you guys have to log on to merchantcircle.com. They're going places. Thanks so much, Wayne.
All right, thank you very much.
Hi again, this is Adriana Gascoigne. I'm here with Chris from Topix. How are you doing tonight?
I'm well. How are you?
Great. So what compelled your company to have such a wonderful function?
Well, we'd spent about the last 6 months building our big new product, which is an ability for people to come on and edit the news site. So we wanted to do something both for the engineers who built the product, as well as we had the Web 2.0 event, and we thought that we'd have some of the people that have been friendly to us in the past couple of years to come out and talk, as well as folks who were involved in this whole citizen journalism thing.
Great. Tell us a little bit about your company. What is it that you do?
So Topix is a news site, but we give people the ability to edit the news on the site, as well as submitting the news, commenting on it, and so forth. So really it's a community-edited news site.
So who do you hope to target? Just general public?
We have actually targeted pretty successfully people from little localities, people from like Douglasville, Texas, and Caruthersville, Missouri, and really it's folks who live in a small town and don't have great news. We wanted them to have the ability to make the news better in their town and report on where they lived.
Great. So your business model is advertising, or? Our
business model is indeed advertising. We make most of our money, about 75% on the advertising, and the balance is made on news feeds that we license to people like InfoSeek, Earthlink, and Ask.
Very good. So what do you think about the Web 2.0 conference? Why is it good for you to have a presence here, and your company to have a presence here?
Well, we've actually done pretty well getting to small towns across the U.S., and we've been a sponsor for the Web 2.0 conference since its inception. We've actually been sponsored all of them. But what we found is that not everybody involved in the whole Web 2.0 conference space really knows who we are. So we figured, hey, a little party and a little bit more presence here might be useful. So yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Chris. Oh, one last question.
Yeah.
So was it your idea to do the little hamburgers?
It was indeed my idea to do little hamburgers on the site, on this party, because they're really good. And I just said, I looked on the menu and said...
Here they are! Here, can I grab one?
Certainly.
So it was his idea to do the hamburgers.
Burgers with quail eggs, man. This makes Web 2.0 people happy. It's a simple secret. Feed them well.
Protein, protein, protein. Keeps us nerds going.
That's right.
Thanks so much, Chris.
Appreciate it, Adriana.
I'm here with Christine from OMDR. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Good. So you visited the Web 2.0 conference. What did you think?
There were a lot of people there. I definitely didn't expect to have that kind of crowd. It's also very interesting because at the Web 2.0 conferences, you get a very techie crowd, and I think you had a lot of people here today who aren't hardcore techie. They're just, they're normal folks who go buy technology for their firms, and they're checking it out, and it's become more mainstream. It was very interesting.
So how do you think it will benefit or has benefited your company?
Well, I invest in Web 2.0, so it's been great.
That's a plus.
So I would say it's been really fabulous. It's opened up a lot of good investment opportunities for us.
Great. So I heard that you have your own website, your own blog. Tell me a little bit about that.
So the blog is christine.net. Makes it easy to remember. And it's technology, a little bit of society thrown in, some best practices. I tend to include a little bit about nonprofit technology as well, just because it doesn't get a lot of coverage, and try to be a little bit socially aware. So for example, there's a lot of blogging there from the panels today, sort of some takeaways for folks.
So what is your background? How did you get involved in this type of company?
Well, I used to... Longer ago than I'll admit, I worked for a venture firm on the East Coast. We did software, we did information services, really loved it, and then I ended up making things for a long time. And a couple of years ago, Rob Hayes, who's now at First Round Capital, we were just chatting, and he said, I'm looking to get some folks in. We're building this new team at Omidyar Network, and great set of folks, so there I went. That's it.
So what type of portfolios, what type of companies do you invest in?
Pretty much everything that I work on is participatory media. And so when I talk about that, I mean things that relate to content value chain, and that might be creating content, discovering it, distributing it, some parts of infrastructure around participation. So I'm managing, we have an investment in Dig right now, Wikia, social text, things that really focus on collaboration and getting control about content down from a top form and into more of a peer-to-peer form.
Very interesting. So right now it's evolving, right? We know that there's going to be a peak and a valley. So where do you think the trends are going to be in the coming months?
I think one of the areas that is just starting to really filter through is a transition from, okay, we've had this traditional media, we've had user-generated content. Those two things have been fairly separate. They're starting to integrate more and more. Yes. And you see that with things like NBC Universal, you see it with Google and YouTube, sort of trying to harmonize those things. So I think as those lines get a little blurrier, there's going to be a trend towards niche content. And so rather than having traditional and user-generated, you're going to have this big stripe in the middle of niche content that's professionally created or prosumer created, and folks can get things that really specifically appeal to them, become much more targeted, not only from an advertising perspective, but also just from a shared interest perspective. And there's a lot of communities forming around this right now. So.
Yeah. Great. And one last question. I mean, you're a busy woman. I know you're very successful and, very fashionable too.
Busy, definitely.
So I know, for example, myself, I don't have time to look at a bunch of websites a day. And I know, Mike Arrington's site and GigaOM, and, those are important because they do their job. They really give you the news on tech. What sites do you look at a daily basis?
Daily basis, I read, I'm going to hate myself for admitting this, TechCrunch, Michael Arrington, TechCrunch, yes, every day. Venture Beats, Dig, just because it's a great filter for everything else. And other than that, it's not daily. I keep it small. Yeah.
From the words of a VC tech expert. Thanks so much, Christine. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.